Oh, I said all right, good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the Town of Cedar Lake Unsafe Building Department meeting for February 19th to order at 5:31. Please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, can I get a roll call, please?
Mr. Wojak?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer? Present. Mr. Teal?
Here.
Mr. Deutmeyer?
Here.
Mr. Bungie is absent. Mr. Conley?
Here.
Mr. Gatto?
Here.
Ms. Hager is present.
Thank you. To start off, we're going to have the election of officers. Item 1, chairman.
I'd like to make a motion for Rich Teal to remain the chairman.
I second that.
All right, we have a motion for myself from Ms. Dessauer, seconded by Mr. Hojek. Roll call, please.
Mr. Wojak?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Teal?
Yes. Motion carries 3-0. Second would be vice chair.
I would like to nominate Ms. Heather as vice chairman.
Okay, and I will second that. Okay, we have a motion, vice chair for Ms. Dessauer, made by Mr. Hojek, seconded by Mr. Teal. Roll call, please.
Mr. Wojak?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Teal?
Yes, motion carries 3-0. Item number 1, on active unsafe, 14714 Dewey Street, Urban James Linden. Name and address for the record, please.
Yeah. Urban Linden, 14714 Dewey Street. Wow, what a meeting. I come in to see if you canceled, but there's nobody out there.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I don't know if you remember where we were from the last meeting, but I was going to talk to people about who would be interested in fixing the problems with the property. Well, I've been talking to people, and I told them you had a meeting tonight, so I better stop in at the meeting and see how things are going before I try to go any farther with them. And to me, I get the feeling, I don't know exactly what it is the board wants. What I want is the property fixed and nobody else to ever get stuck with the thing that I got stuck with. Now, I don't know exactly what it is that the board wants out of this project, but it looks to me like this is going to be a very expensive project, and the board could very easily make it impossible. I mean, nobody's going to be interested in doing it. If by doing it, they're going to lose money. And I don't want whoever does it to go cutting corners and do anything short of what it should be done. So.
Well, and with our building inspectors, you know, whether it would be Mr. Gatto or any of the other ones going out there, you know, they would, you know, as part of the, you know, building permit inspection process, they wouldn't, you know, allow anyone to cut corners like that.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure the town knows what the real problems are, which took me forever to find. I bought that property 47 years before I found what the real problems were. And it's really disappointing.
Yeah.
Well, so, yeah, the people I was talking to about fixing it, they kind of gave me the impression that dealing with the board, if the wrong word is used, oh, real negative things happen. You know, you make it much more difficult than it should be. You know, I'm hoping the board is with me on the idea of what we want is to fix the problem, not make it real difficult. I don't mean by make it difficult, make it done right. I mean, make it difficult by, okay, we're going to make these demands. You're going to end up losing money for doing this. You know,
Well, I think the main demand is to make it safe. You know, I think everybody would, up here would agree with that.
Okay.
Including, you know, the building department.
Yeah, my opinion of making it safe actually amounts to replacing it.
Okay.
You know. But
Are you saying replacing as in completely tearing down and rebuilding, or?
not completely, no. There's another thing that causes problems with this. There's a lot of basement area with this house. Well, in order to avoid any worse problems than it already has, I'm keeping heat in the basement. So there's some heat in the basement, and there's electric and gas, so that you just naturally get water in the basement. And if it's not heated, it's gonna freeze. If it freezes, it's gonna do damage to the basement. I can't let that happen. And I said, that's another thing to where you kind of need a delay with proceeding with this, because if you were to tear it down in this weather, you're gonna end up with an open basement, which is gonna get water in it, it's gonna freeze, and it's gonna destroy the only good part that's there, which is the foundation.
Is your idea to take down the house at this point? Is that what you're saying?
So, yeah, the whole well, it's a 1.5 story house. To me, the best plan would be to change it to a single-story house. You're gonna have to take all of this down, and there's work that needs to be done on the foundation, because they did stupid things with it too.
So are you saying that you're waiting to take the house down until the weather gets better?
Well, we need to do that, because it could very easily cause more damage if you open it up now. You have to keep some heat in that basement.
No, I understand what you're saying. The last time we talked, it seemed like the plan was to fix it. So I'm on board with, if demoing it is what you're thinking, that's, I think, a great plan. And if what you're saying is that you just need a couple of months to get through the winter until that happens?
But, the people that I'm talking to about this, so for them to do it, it would be a matter of me selling them the property. But I told them, I'll be happy. To me, I consider it's gonna be a total loss to me. Everything that I put into it's gonna be a loss. And while I still have it, get through the winter weather, and I told them I don't have a problem with taking care of the utility bills, the property taxes, the homeowners fees, all of this other stuff. I'll cover those expenses. And, well, and they asked me, well, what do you have in mind for a price? Well, I'm thinking about $1. I mean, I expect to totally lose what I have in it, which ought to put them in a position to where they can spend enough money on it to take it down, rebuild it, and make a profit on it.
Well, at what point, whoever this is that you're speaking with, if you could direct them to the building department, because, I mean, right now, all we're doing is speculating. If you're talking with them, talking with us, without them actually coming into the building department to see what,
Well, they
you
have
know,
done these things in.
yeah, I mean,
So.
because right now, we're,
Well, I wanted to talk to
I
you
get the
before I talk
idea
to you.
about, you know, demoing it and rebuilding,
Yeah,
but without them understanding what the situation is, have you given them the copy of your report to know what the
I've talked
concerns
to
were?
them extensively. I intend to show them everything in person, meet them there and show them the actual problems. But,
And if they're in that business, I would assume that they would know what they're getting themselves into,
yeah.
I would think. You know, anybody that's in that business that's gonna be buying it to tear it down and rebuild it, you know, would know what they're doing.
Yeah, that was my impression too, is that,
So at some point, you're gonna need to at least direct them to the building department to start that process.
Yeah.
You know, whether it be, you know, if you are selling them the parcel contingent on their due diligence with the building department, you know, that would be my thought. I don't know what the rest of the board's thought is on that, but, I mean,
Well, from what he said at first, it sounded like they didn't want to talk to the board.
no.
no, but I'm not saying come here. I'm saying they're at some point gonna need to go to the building department where they talk to our planning director, you know, and stuff, and, you know, have that meeting, on what's gonna be required of them moving forward. You know, right now, we're, you know,
but she reminded me of another problem that I wanted to ask you about. There was another problem with the property. Across the front of the house, there's this big concrete stoop that goes all the way across.
Mhm, I'm looking at it.
Well, when I bought the property, the neighbors told me that if you ever want to change that, you're probably going to have a problem, because they had to get an exception from the town in order to do it in the first place. That whole thing needs to be removed. It's causing problems. It's useless, and it causes problems. So,
The only thing
know what
I can
people
think of is, looking at this property, and just like the other members are saying, if somebody wants to buy this, it's gonna have to be taken down.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just looking at the foundation, there's no way that you can rebuild on this thing, it's gotta be taken down. And they need to be aware of that, thus they need to come in to the building department, say, this is what we need to, wanna do, and follow the rules from there. But until that happens, there's nothing really, it needs to be taken care of, obviously.
Well, I wanted to have conversations between me and you people and them before we jump into any kind of commitment, like I sell the property to them. I don't want to do that. I don't want to see anybody else burned on this property.
When do you expect to meet with them, do you know?
Last time I talked to them on the phone, they were just chomping at the bit. The meeting's on the 19th. I can go to the meeting and talk to you after the meeting, see what I find out at the meeting. Well, I figured I need to talk to people from the town about some of the problems with the property.
I think you need to start out with first of all, a commitment from whoever you're gonna sell it to, and then they need to go to the building department, that's where they need to start.
Yeah.
So once you show them the property, the interior, the exterior, whatever, if they say yay, you know, we're gonna do it, then it should all go to the town, to the building department, get that all worked out.
Come in, get the demo permit, get the construction permit, and then,
Yeah. Well, my impression was at some point, my part is gonna be selling the property to them so they can do this.
yeah.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
But I
That's
would like to
between you
get
and the
everything
buyer.
straightened out before that. I'm not trying to rip them off or anybody else.
But that's why I'm saying, it can, whatever sale, and Heather, I know you deal with real estate, this could be a contingency on their part if, you know, if they come in, present the site plan to the building department, on what they wanna do moving forward, and it's satisfactory, to me, it would be contingent on that.
Contingent on town approval.
And, yeah, I mean, so that can get done rather quick, I would say. You know, depending on how long, you know, it would take whoever it is that wants to design whatever house on there.
Yeah.
All they need at this point is a demo permit.
A demo permit, and, yeah,
It's like starting from scratch.
If they're doing this, don't I have to sell the property to them before that happens?
In the contract, it would have a contingency that they're gonna purchase the home based on town approval to be able to demo the property. So that would all be up in a contract. If they come into town, the town says, yep, we're good to go, we'll issue a demo permit, no problem. You can close on the property. That would become theirs at that point. And then they would come in and they would get the demo permit and they would move along.
Well, I want the problems with the property fixed.
Then you would
I
have to
don't
demo
want
the
to
property.
just dump it
Yeah.
onto somebody else.
Then you would have to demo the property. Your options are either to enter into a contract contingent on town approval for a demo, or demo it yourself. There's no in between with those two. You can demo the property and then sell the land with the foundation, but then you're incurring costs.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to not incur the cost, I would sign a contract contingent on town approval. Someone comes in, they said, yep, you're good to go to demo, you close on the property, then it becomes their home.
Yeah.
You get your money or whatever your agreement is, and then they would demo and move on.
Well, some of these little questions I have, like with that front stoop And
I don't think the
if that
town,
would-
Tony, could you speak up for the town? I don't think the
It
town
has
would have
to
any
do with
issue
where the
removing the
building
concrete
is.
stoop, correct?
I mean, it's already there, so if someone were to remove the concrete stoop and either build a deck there or re-pour the stoop, it's existing, we would allow them to.
Well, he's thinking there's a problem with removing it.
No,
I'm
well,
saying that
no.
we would be able to see by either a survey or the GIS that it was there, and it could be rebuilt to the same dimensions.
Or removed forever and,
Oh, yeah, or removed.
At some point, the town made an issue out of the building line, which is where the front edge of the house was. Well, other houses don't have a front door, they have to have a side door. Well, if you're gonna rebuild this, and you rebuild it with a front door, and then find out you can't use the front door, I mean,
That's
you
good.
need to know this stuff ahead
That
of
stoop is
time.
existing. If it were tore out and re-poured with proper flashing and the proper method, that's fine, to those dimensions. It can't be bigger, but it can be to those dimensions or smaller.
Well, it needs to be much smaller, really.
It could be either way.
It causes a problem. It's causing a problem with the front wall of the foundation.
Right, I agree.
yes, I mean, it seems like you have two clear options. Either sign a contract contingent on town approval for them to demo it, or you're going to have to demo the property and then place it for sale.
Okay, well, I'll talk to them. Maybe I can get them to come in to talk to you.
Well, it'd be to,
They have worked on other houses in city.
yeah.
Yeah, it'd be that, they would talk to the building department.
Yeah, I don't know who all your different people are. Yeah. Like, different questions I have, I know, which person do I talk to? I don't know.
Yeah, they would just have to come to the building department.
I don't want to speak for everyone, but I can tell you that if someone came in and wanted to demo this property, I feel like the town would be pretty,
On board.
on board with that.
So, well, to me, it looks like that'd be rather expensive, considering what's there now.
Compared to trying to rebuild it,
You can't,
no, you gotta take that down, like they're saying.
yeah,
Demo
it's
it.
gotta be taken down first.
I
But
think
that's gonna
pretty-
be a whole lot of money in the ditch if you don't go anywhere with this project.
Well, that's,
You know, how you gonna recover?
like Heather said, you make a contingent with your seller, or your buyer, I should say. There's ways to do it, and they're giving you all the ideas to do it, you just gotta put your foot forward with whoever wants to buy this property. You
Well,
gotta
that
make the
sounds
next
like a
move.
way to protect me financially. That's not the way I'm looking at this. I'm looking at it as, I don't want anybody else to be abused by this mess that's there. I want it fixed. And I hope it can be possible for somebody to do that and make something off of it.
Yeah.
If someone asked me what I wanted for it, I told them I'm thinking about $1. You know,
It's between you and them.
well, so they're not out anything to start with, so whatever they have to lay out, they've got a chance of recovering it. Well, I can talk to them and,
Yeah.
yeah,
Gotta
well, then
start
I'll
there.
have to show them all the problems. So,
Well, it won't matter, because if it was demoed, there won't be any problem.
There won't.
Yeah.
There's value in that
Yes.
land, sir. That land is worth money. So if someone wants to come in and purchase that land and demo the property,
it's only a 50-foot lot, how much could it possibly be
It's a
worth?
buildable lot.
it's a
You'll be
buildable lot in a
surprised.
great location in
Yep.
Cedar Lake. It's that land has value,
Yes, it does.
100%.
Well, what do you mean by demo it? You mean remove the basement too?
Well, if the foundation is okay, then, I mean, that would.
Or needs repair, that's on them. I mean, it could just need repair.
Yeah, it needs some repair.
So if the house gets demoed, the foundation gets
walls are the
repaired,
same height.
well,
There's
So
an
there's-
addition on the back of the
there's
house,
value.
and it's got shorter
There's
walls.
value there, sir. You can't build a home anymore for under
Yeah.
a large amount of euros.
so what are we wanting
And
to
just,
do?
real quick, Mr. President, to clarify one thing, just so you know. Right, if you sell the property and your new purchaser demos it, because it seems like there was some concern about the board and all that stuff. Once the property is demoed, it is no longer within the purview of this board, right? This board only cares about the property being unsafe. So the options for your purchaser would be to fix it and make it safe, or to demo it. If they demo it, then it all goes to the building department. The building department just treats it like any other new building permit, where they just have to follow the town's code of ordinances in terms of what they have to build. But they won't be coming back to meetings, because it won't be unsafe anymore, because there'll be nothing there. Does that make sense?
Well, if you consider the details, what do you mean there'll be nothing there? So the basement's gonna be gone too?
No, if they're, whatever they're building, right, once it's leveled to grade, I mean, obviously you'll have to secure the foundation so nobody's jumping in.
One of the choices was demo it, but you're gonna leave the basement there?
If it's usable, and that's what their intent is, yeah.
It needs to be repaired, but that's unsafe. You can't leave a hole like that in the ground, and it's gonna get worse.
Yeah, well, that part would have to be secured, right? They would have to put some form of barrier around it so individuals don't find their way into it. But that's not something that typically ends up here, right? That's something that the town code would deal with in another scenario typically. But the only thing they would care about is if they're gonna leave the foundation and build up on it, is that the foundation is secured, so it's either covered, or they have barricades or fences around it. I know both things have been done in the past with foundations that have been left from prior houses. But in terms of like rebuilding it, they're not gonna come to the Unsafe Building Commission and seek, permission to do X, Y, or Z. That's all gonna be handled at the building department level. So they won't have meetings here. They would just handle that at the building department unless they needed a variance or something else related to what they intend to use the property for.
They're dealing with the town of Cedar Lake, no matter who it is, aren't they?
Correct. But they won't be going to meetings, they'd just be going, talking to Tony or somebody else in the building department, doing what they need to do to pull their building permit. And if they've built in Cedar Lake before, they're certainly familiar with what the town's requirements are.
The last one they did was considered a remodel.
Not all that different. I mean, granted, it's a different type of permit, but they know what they need to do. They have to follow the ordinances, whether it's new construction or remodel, they still have to follow the ordinances.
Mr. Lynn, what are you asking from us for now?
To help the people that are interested in fixing this building.
The town is happy to help whoever comes in and wants to make this property right.
Yeah.
But right now, you're the owner. So as the owner, what are you asking us for? How can we help you? Do you
Right
need more
now,
time?
right now, we need time to get through the winter weather.
Well, either way though, I mean, the problem is that we keep kicking the ball farther out. If your intent is to sell the property, and it sounds like you have an interested buyer, you could be under contract with that property in the next 2 weeks. So how much longer do you need? If someone purchases that property and their intention is to demo it, and we get all those balls rolling, that you shouldn't need much time.
Well, okay, so if I sold it to them in 2 weeks, are they gonna be able to push things along enough to avoid the problems with the weather, with taking it apart? Because when we have winter weather, that's not the time to take it apart.
I mean, you can demo anytime, I don't.
Yeah, we have some going on right now that have been demoed within the last several weeks.
Yep.
With basements.
Yeah.
And if the basement's no good, they're gonna take it down and they're gonna fill it up with dirt until they're ready to build on it. That's part
Yeah,
of it.
or they just start building right away.
Right away, if the basement's working, they're gonna be able to build in this weather. They're doing it down.
They're doing it every day.
Yeah, I watched them putting in some beams today.
What's your thoughts?
So we're 2 years out from your original report. We switched from.
If you read the original, there's a 1-year delay on your behalf as part of that.
Regardless, sir.
Yeah.
Does that matter?
Well,
So it's been over.
Well, you can just say, because we're backlogged, we blew it off for a year, but when I wanna try to get something done, you tell me, okay, I can fix it in the winter.
You've not tried to get anything done since
Except for the garage. So
the garage came down, but besides that, nothing's happened with the home. My question to you is, it's been over over 2 years since the town deemed this property unsafe. So how much longer do you need, now that the intention is to demo this? How can we help you expedite moving this along a little bit, so we can get this off of our agenda?
Well, I'll talk to them and have them talk to whoever they need to, and we'll decide if we're gonna make a deal with them or not.
So I would say that would be 30 days.
That's 30 days. I'll make a motion for a 30-day deferral.
Second.
March
March 19th?
Yeah.
All right, we have a motion, we have a motion by Ms. Dessauer, seconded by Mr. Hojek, for a 30-day deferral, which would be the March 19th meeting. Can I get a roll call, please?
Mr. Hojek?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Teal?
Yes, motion carries 3-0. Okay, just make sure that you bring them over to the building department or instruct them to go there, so then they can,
Okay.
get that stuff figured out. And then,
Okay.
we'll see you in 30 days.
Okay.
But you can come next week and talk to the building department.
Well,
I
yeah.
mean, you don't have to wait to come and talk to the building. The
Right.
hope would be is that you would talk to the building department before our next meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's no holdup on our end, so if you can schedule an appointment with who you need to there with your
Which I
fire.
have no idea who that could be.
yeah, but until then, we still need him here at the next meeting.
But my hope is that those things are moving
Yes.
along before that.
Yes,
Okay.
all right, thank you.
See you next month.
All right, moving on to item 2, 8705 West 132nd Place, Kubiak Properties. Let me see, Tim is not here.
No longer unsafe, it's been demoed.
Yeah, so, I know, yeah, I did speak to Tim, when he said he did have it down. I know he was deciding on what they were doing now, but like you said, it's all in the building department's hands.
Everything's gone from there, cleaned up.
The foundation, basically, the condition of the foundation, he'd be rebuilding 3 walls. He's trying to decide whether he just wants to do away with that and build something entirely new, basement and all, or if he's gonna work with what's there, so.
Okay. You're comfortable with the building department taking this over at this point?
Yeah, I mean, the structure
Yeah.
is gone, and it was just a crawl space, so it's not like there's an open foundation there or something, so it's no longer unsafe.
All right, I'll make a motion to remove this from our agenda.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion to remove this, from the agenda from Ms. Dessauer, seconded by Mr. Hojek. Roll call?
Mr. Hojek?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Teal?
Yes, motion carries 3-0. Moving on to 14616 Dewey Street, Frick.
How you doing?
Good. Name and address for the record, please?
Tom Frick, 8008 West 146th Avenue, Cedar Lake.
How's things, moving along? Anything with the, builder or architect or anything, or what update would you have?
Like I got drawings, I got a builder, he's get some prices. I had another builder, but, what he was wanting was way too much money.
Mm-hmm.
I've done some stuff to the house, prior to it getting cold out. I closed up the bottom. I don't know if you've seen it since I've done the work.
I did see that. Tony did, huh?
I was over there.
Yeah. Tony did share us the photos with us.
I think Mr. Frick shared them with you,
Okay, you did. Yeah, I knew somebody shared it. I thought you did, Tony.
wasn't me.
Okay,
I don't believe it was me. I don't remember doing it.
yeah. I don't know why I can't find it on here.
It's still the building yellow one, right?
Rich, he said he didn't see the photos.
Yeah, well, for some reason I only have, Mr. Linden's parcel on here.
You're pointing over here.
You got it.
That's sure. 14616, right?
Yeah, there's no new photos in the unsafe report.
I broke it. Well, I do remember seeing that, you know, where it was open below in the crawl and stuff like that.
Right here.
Right, that's all closed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. Yep. All right, thank you. So you say you're gonna go with you're looking at different, bids from different builders, or?
Right now, I got, a second builder. The first one was way too high. For saying vinyl siding and almost like hollow core doors, it was way too high. So I got somebody else that was referred to me, and he's in the process of working on numbers. And then once I get that, and get what I need for permits, I'm gonna plan on starting, build as soon as I get the permits and everything. Just whatever it takes,
Remind me why this isn't demoed.
because I'm getting permits for it.
For a demo?
No. To build, when I get all my permits to build and everything, that's when I will do the demo and everything.
Why can't we do the demo sooner?
I don't want to. Not until I'm ready with the permits.
Instead of permits, do you mean contracts? Because you need to have the contracts ready.
Everything to build. I'm not a builder. This is my first time doing this. So I can't just pick up the phone and have somebody come out and start working on a place. But I'm working on it. Something I've been wanting to do, and this is the year.
So my thought is, if it is secure right now, would you expect to get stuff going in the spring?
Definitely.
We did this a year ago, Rich, you know that, right?
Right.
Driving back there, there is a brand new home that was just built, kitty corner.
Mm-hmm.
There is another one directly across the street from that brand new home that was purchased and is being rehabbed. And then there's this home. And so my concern lies more with your neighbors. I know you don't live there, but there are people that live there that are trying to improve the neighborhood and do the right thing with homes. And then this house sits there. I mean, if this house for sure is impeding on that new home being sold, without a doubt. So.
I don't think so.
Oh, I can guarantee you it is.
No, not in Cedar Lake.
Sir, I've taken people through that home, and they've looked directly at your home and not liked the look of it. So please don't tell me that that's not true.
Okay.
Would you want to look at that home? Let me ask you that. Would you buy a $725,000 house and then look at that home?
Are you talking about the one across the street? Are you talking
The
about
brand new
mine?
home that was built directly kitty corner to your home. Yes, there's only one. That house is impeding sales, neighbors have to look at it and drive by it, so it's secure. Is it unsafe? Yes. Is it a fire hazard? Yes. Is it a hazard to public health? Yes.
So,
Is it a nuisance? Yes.
what, I asked you for a list. Do you have a list of what I need to have done to make it so it's at least safe enough for you to let me, I closed it up. I don't know what, do you have the list?
You did have the copy, right? Yeah, that was gonna say that.
Thank you.
I think that envelope's been here for 2 months.
Yeah.
I would have thought it would have been mailed to me.
Yeah, I'm sure if we went back to the meeting 2 months ago, you were instructed to come in and pick it up when we were describing on what was needed, you know, as far as tearing the house down and moving forward with getting a permit. And that's why it's been sitting at the counter for 2 months. I just don't, you know, like Ms. Dessauer said, you know, we kinda had these same discussions last year, but last thing I wanna do is say, yeah, we're gonna, you know, give you any kind of a deferral, whether it be till spring or something, to get, you know, have you get the ball rolling on it, and then next thing you know, it's May, and we're still in the same spot.
You gave me a deferral, a few meetings back
Right.
for 2 months.
Right. Well, I mean, but that's, what I'm saying though, is we can't just keep getting deferrals with, you know, let's say if we did a 60-day deferral or something like that for you to get all your stuff in order, to get it demoed, to get rebuilt, and then it's April and there's nothing done, still no quotes, still no, you know, permits pulled or anything like that, then what do we do?
I don't understand why it can't be demoed, besides you just don't want to. What is the reason you can't get this property demoed? Then you don't have to deal with us, and you can build whenever you want to build.
That's fine. I will work on,
I guess, you know, so, Mr. Frick, part of the reason for you to come in to get that envelope, you know, when we instructed you 2 months ago, was because of your concern on if you had it demoed, you know, that you had to start right away. Well, then once it was, you know, once I was informed from the building department that this is no hang-ups on this lot, you know, you don't need any variances, you have good setbacks and everything, it's a buildable lot, you know, you would not have been under that, restriction of, let's say if it was like a meets and bounds parcel, or if there was existing, you know, legal non-conforming, then yes, you would have to demo and rebuild in conjunction. So that's what the whole purpose of that envelope, for you to come in, so you could see it, because you said you needed to see that.
I'm looking for the,
I mean, you got 100 foot wide by 130 foot deep. It's a, you know, there's no restrictions that you would have if you were to demo it and then waited a year to build on it.
I haven't got anything that says that.
I think you just did.
I know what you just said.
So what is in the envelope then? Is it just
Report
the report? Yeah, 'cause he should be seeing I think when I was talking with Tim, there's supposed to be the information on the fact of what is required for building on that lot.
Which is the R2 standards.
Which is R2 standards. I couldn't remember if it was 1 or 2.
Yeah.
So whatever R2 standards, can we email that to him tomorrow or something?
We'll leave an envelope at the counter from the pickup, or we can mail it.
I mean, I thought that's
I
what was,
believe is the zoning ordinance, that piece in there also, after the report? There's 2 things in that envelope.
Yeah.
yeah, so if the zoning ordinance is in there, then that's what was, been there for 2 months, and that's your proof there that you can demo it and then build in 2 years. This is not like I said, a legal non-conforming, issue with any, you know, too close to, you know, a setback issue or anything like that. So like in what Heather's concern is, there's nothing stopping it, if you were gonna demo it anyway, for you to demo it now and rebuild in spring, next year, 5 years, whenever.
That was your plan, right, to demo it?
Well, it has to be demoed for me to build.
So, it's pretty much right there. If you can get this thing demoed, like you're saying, you could sit on this thing for a while.
And then there's no more unsafe meetings, and then it would just be with the fact of getting a construction permit.
Well, I need to find out then. Because I'm hearing conflicting things. I was told to get my permits and then demo it. In fact, you had mentioned that to me.
Right, and that's what I told you before, because when they were telling me about the 60 days that you had within from doing that, or the 6 months, what was, Tony, I don't know if you
I think
could...
that was the impression, was it was 6 months.
The impression was 6 months before that you had to start something right away, but that would be on a meets and bounds legal non-conforming, and you don't fall under that. So when I mentioned that to you that day that you were, that we spoke for probably a good 30, 40 minutes, after that is when I was told, no, this is an R2, this is the information you need. So you have no restrictions on this. This ain't like it's like some of these that are too narrow of a lot, something that's not buildable now, but if you were to build on existing, this does not comply, this does not pertain to your parcel.
What's the size of the lot, Rich?
It's 100 wide by, I believe, 130. It's either 125 to 130, I believe, deep. I want to say 130.
So the zoning ordinance is located on the town's website, and you are talking about R2.
Yes.
That would start on page 15, chapter 6. Side yards have to be no less than 8 feet wide, rear yard has to be no less than 30 feet, 25% lot coverage.
Looks like 125.
Front yard,
125 by 50.
No,
Or by 100, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the 50.
building size requirements, minimum looks like 1,500. All of that is located right on the town zoning ordinance, which is on its website. Like I said, it starts on page 15, which is 15 in the actual document. If you're looking at the PDF, it's page 24. Those are the regulations that you would be looking at. And the lot size requirement is no less than 10,000 feet, 80 by 125.
And this
That's the minimum.
is well over it.
Mm-hmm. That's the minimum lot area and width. Yeah. It's right here.
Ryan, you said 80 by 125?
Yep.
Thank you.
Does it say anything about where I don't have to have the, single one lot subdivision thing that you guys always wanted?
No, you don't, because you are not a meets and bounds parcel. You are already a legal lot of record.
No, then how come the guy with that, mailbox on 141st, he's got a sidewalk to nowhere, brand new home?
Yes. I don't know what the deal was with that one. If it was, I thought it was a meets and bounds at first.
Do you know what the address is of the owner?
Jeremy Kuiper. I could have swore it was, because there was other parcels there that
I should
were
remember.
8919 West 141st?
south side of the road.
Let's see if we can see the legal on that one.
I had a friend who wanted to put a garage up, and they wanted them to do that single lot subdivision for putting a garage up.
Yeah, it looks like they made a subdivision called the Kuiper Compound. Yeah.
So it was meets and bounds before that?
Presumably, if they, because it's 3.972496 acres.
I mean, without having the specifics on the parcel, if it was a meets and bounds, then yes, they would need a one lot subdivision, and yours is clearly not a meets and bounds. Like if you were to get on like Lake County GIS and look and click on a parcel, you'd see, like if you click on a parcel ID, it highlights it blue. Some parcels would go to the center of the roadway. That of course shows no easement lines or anything like that. And so with that front line, you can see it's clearly off of the center of the road. There's even parcels on, 41 Indianapolis Boulevard, Wicker Avenue, whichever you want to call it, that are still almost go to the center of 41. Those, if anything ever happened with that, got rebuilt, whatever, those would have to come in for a one lot subdivision and go according to the new zoning ordinance. You do not fall under that.
Yeah, I found the deed, it was back in 2015, it was a meets and bounds description. Fractions, minutes, seconds, all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
You okay with this?
At the moment, no.
And just for the record, right, this will all be recorded in the meeting minutes. So if you were ever to encounter issues, you have the meeting minutes available from this meeting, going through all this stuff.
Any thoughts?
Well, what are you gonna do? What do you wanna do? Are you gonna get prices on demoing it, or what are you gonna do? That way we can kinda come up with something. Because right now, I don't know what you wanna do.
I'm just trying to think,
If you're gonna demo it, the best solution is like Rich just said, and Heather was saying, demo it and get all your permits for whatever you need to do for the demo, and then sit on it until you're ready to build on it. Then you don't have to come to these meetings, if the building's gone.
yeah, but then when you demo it, then I gotta, what do I gotta do? Plant seed and make it like a,
I think it's just grass, isn't it, Tony?
At this point, the ordinance, I guess it's the ordinance, just says it needs to be seeded.
Yeah.
even though I'm planning to build,
Well, you may not build
You
for a
can't-
year, so they don't want that.
I get that.
You can't close the demo permit out, we can't close the demo permit out until it's been seeded. As soon as the ground is stabilized, if you don't seed it, as soon as the ground's stabilized with weeds, whatever, then that's the intent, is so that the ground is stabilized so it can't corrode. That's the intent of seeding.
And Tony, how did we work that before? I know there was the one on 133rd, there was an issue of when that was torn down, when grass was gonna grow, as far as closing out that demo permit.
The wording, like we spoke, the wording just says.
The wording on how long on how long it was actually, extended, I guess.
What's that now?
When grass wasn't gonna be growing at that time of the year.
There's no wording in that, it
Right.
just says it needs to be seeded.
Just needs to be
The way
seen.
it's written, if it's January, if it's February today, it's seeded, his
Yeah,
obligations are fulfilled.
yeah.
Was that
I
the
don't
turkey
think that
vulture
that's-
house?
Yes,
That's what I thought.
yes, you're correct.
But Tony, isn't there a methodology in the ordinance that if he demos it and he's got plans to rebuild, that, I presume he starts to rebuild sometime shortly thereafter, that it just rolls into the building permit, which then he wouldn't have to seed it, obviously, if they're beginning construction to build it.
Correct.
But if you wanna sit on it for a while, all they're asking you to do is just clean it up a little bit, throw the seed down, and then you can decide when it's good for you to build.
No, I get that, I'm just, 'cause the weather's gonna be breaking soon. I'm just trying to get stuff in line. I just need a little time, that's all.
Well, it's gotta come down, right? So, get some prices, start getting yourself some prices on getting the tank taken down.
Tony, typically, how long are we doing demo permits for?
If you were to just come in and apply for one, it's 12 months. Unless you guys direct something different.
So there's nothing that, what we can do now, I mean, as far as if Mr. Frick comes in, we can instruct the building department to issue the demo permit to him. And then, as far as, I know we've had stipulations before where it be 30, 60, whatever, however many days, you know, that they have to tear it down. I don't know if this would pertain to this. What's your thought from the building department?
Being an unsafe property, you guys, we would look for it, to you for direction on a term.
Yeah, other than a year, since it's unsafe.
Right, if he had come in prior to this being an unsafe property, it would have been a 1-year permit. But once it's considered unsafe, we look at you guys for direction on that.
What's your thought with the demo permit?
I'm happy to issue a demo permit, but that's not what
I-
I think he wants.
What do you want?
He wants time, but all we've done is time,
Yeah.
so I don't know what the other option is
If
besides
you need
time.
time, the best thing to do is like we've been saying, get the thing demoed, take care of what you have to do, and then you
So
can.
if I get a demo permit, how much time are you gonna give me?
To demo it,
Yes,
how much time do you need?
give me 4 months.
I wouldn't feel comfortable not seeing you for 4 months, because all that would happen was that demo permit would expire, and we would be sitting exactly where we're sitting right now.
What's your
Well,
thought?
what do you mean, what would you expect?
What would you like?
Again, you've been.
It's not costing you anything.
What's your thought on the timing?
If I was to excavate, to dig the foundation and stuff on the house, I would have a machine on the property. It would demo the house and do all that. Now I gotta bring a machine onto the property, demo the house, he's leaving, and then I gotta bring a machine back again to excavate for the foundation. Versus if I did it all in one shot, I'm saving money by the portability of the machine and all that. That's what I'm trying to avoid.
Could that be done in 3 months? And I'm just asking for,
He doesn't even have a builder or a plan.
I got a plan.
he does have a plan.
I saw the plan, fine. So you don't even have a builder. I don't know, I mean, now we're coming to.
I said I'm talking to one. I had one, I'm talking to another one.
I don't know why you're being short with me.
I'm sorry, but what did you tell me about you're showing a house across the street? that
For
has-
sure.
Okay,
You don't
well,
think that house affects the other surrounding houses,
Okay.
and I don't care if it's for sale or if it's people living there. Sir, everyone in this room lives in Cedar Lake, we all are
I've
surrounded
been
by
here
homes
for
like this.
25 years.
Congratulations,
All right.
we're all surrounded by homes like this, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of driving
You've
by.
only been here 5 years.
Sir, I moved here in 2009, what does that make a difference? Why does that matter? I'm sick of seeing these houses just like everyone else is, and you're acting like it's not a big deal. It is a big deal. It's a big deal to people. People in the audience, is this a big deal?
Yes.
So the biggest problem I have too with this is a fire hazard, and it's also a safety hazard for our responding personnel. This is what I call a red X building, we talked about this.
You're looking at the photos of how old?
I'm looking at the building that we just got and you said where it was sealed up. It's still a red X building.
She's turning me.
That means it's a no-go. We don't go in buildings like this. You can't let this, no, because firefighters fall through roofs, they fall through ceilings, they fall through floors. This is a dangerous building, even though it's boarded up. So you gotta make a decision, sooner or later, you gotta do it. We can't, like, kick the can down the road. You just gotta make a decision, boss. You know, they're working with you. They've been working with you before I got here, but you gotta do something. Give us the time, give us the date that you need to do, 2 months, 3 months, but don't go any further than that. And I don't wanna step on anybody that, you know, what do you guys think?
Well, that's what I was wondering, if 3 months, I know Heather said, is not good with the 4, I know you said 4, I don't know what your thoughts are, I mean.
I would say 2, but if he comes in with some proof that he's got people that are on contract, ready to take the building down and do something, I mean, would be good with that, but not much longer,
Make the motion, I'll second it.
2 months. Do we need to put any contingency in it?
I mean, we'll issue a demo permit, a 2-month demo permit will be issued.
Okay.
He's got to apply for it.
Due to expire, when's the April meeting?
Understood it? You understand it? You have to apply for your demo permit, we're gonna approve for 2 months, so you'll have 2 months.
60 days.
60 days to get it done,
Get the permit done.
get the demo done.
Give me 3 months.
Well, the way it works, Tony, I believe it starts from when it's issued, if you could correct me on that.
You guys can set an expiration date, or you can say 60 days from the
So-
day that, however you want.
Well, that's why I wanna make sure there's no issue with that.
Right.
So it would be better to set the expiration date, just so we're all clear.
April 16th is the next meeting, so April 15th, for 2 months.
Didn't we talked about this a little bit before, just to avoid the nuance, because theoretically, it expires the day before the meeting, so it would walk in and it's already expired, if they
Yeah.
weren't gonna do anything, whatever, during. So I would say, generally speaking, it would expire, I think the way to do it is day of the meeting.
The day of, which would be the 16th, that way if it were to be extended for any reason or whatever.
Yeah, you could extend it through action that evening, versus having to deal with the fact that you now have an expired permit, and then do we have to reapply, and how does all that work?
So instead of, I would imagine the motion then would be the demo permit that would be set to expire April 16th.
All right, so I'm gonna try and get through this motion. We'll make a motion to issue a demo permit to Mr. Frick at 14616 Dewey Street, to expire on April 16th.
Ryan, would you think there should be anything added to that, or is that enough for?
The only thing I would note is, I mean, the permit would be issued upon him, filing his application as is required.
And bring something. If something's going on, let us know. You gotta, just don't come up here after all this time. You gotta say, hey, I got this on board, but they can't come until, April 17th to knock it down. You gotta keep in contact with everybody, that's all we're asking.
All right, we have a motion,
I'll second that motion.
we have a second, can I get a roll call?
Mr. Wojak?
Yes.
Ms. Stetauer?
Yes.
Mr. Teal?
Yes, motion carries 3-0. Moving on to item number 4, 9320 West 142nd Avenue, Northwest Sienna Casas LLC. This was deferred from the February 19th meeting. Or no, I don't know why it says February 19th. I thought it was deferred. My apologies on that. Mr. Martin,
Yes, sir.
name and address for the record, please.
Yes, Junior Martin, 2701 West 45th Avenue, Gary, Indiana, 46408.
All right, what do we got going on?
So I emailed some photos earlier today. So we're about 65%, maybe 70% done with the demo. NIPSCO finally got the lines retired a week ago Monday, so not Monday this week, but the previous Monday. And so we're moving right along, and I'm hoping that by the weekend, Monday, everything will be complete.
Anything from the building department?
The permit is expired currently.
Mm-hmm. When did it expire, Tony?
Probably in December. Memory serves me right.
I think, yeah, it was December if I remember right, but I don't know the date.
It was like the first week of December. Off of memory.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, never mind. Note I have here just says, if it were a 12-month permit, it would expire on 4/8.
On 4/8?
Right.
Okay.
Right, my understanding was in the last meeting, that because of the NIPSCO delay, that we were extending the permit through the end of this month, because that was the realistic timeline that would be completed. Because originally NIPSCO had given me a timeline of December, I want to say it was December 15th through the 25th or something like that. And for whatever reason, I guess outside contractors was the explanation I was given. They didn't, like I said, 2 weeks ago is when they finally got the lines retired, so we've been held captive until then, but that's why I know I was told I did not need to attend last month, and my understanding was that the permit was extended through the end of this month in order for us to complete that.
All right, and I do know that we, as a town, with some of the properties that were demoed, we did have some issues with delays and stuff like that with getting NIPSCO to come in and take care of that. So that I definitely understand. I just want to make sure that we, touch base on it, just so, everyone's clear that we try not to set any kind of precedence that, if a permit was expired or anything like that, it doesn't mean that someone could just go and start tearing things down, just.
What do we have to do to make the paperwork right on that? Extending a permit can't be that big of a deal, right, Tony?
As far as we're concerned, I mean, it has the capability of a 12-month term, which would be until that March or that April date.
So just to clear up the paperwork portion of it, can't we couldn't we make a motion to just
I
extend?
don't see why not.
Yeah.
Extended.
Mr. Martin, you'll be done in the next month, right? I mean, you'll probably before that.
Yeah, we should be done next week.
Okay, so if we simply made a motion to extend the demo permit to April 16th, that would make paperwork correct, and then
April 8th.
April.
Well, if it's next week, I mean, is there any reason why we can't just extend it till March 19th, which is the next meeting?
Oh, my
Yeah.
gosh, I'm skipping a whole time looking at the date, I'm so sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
March.
Yeah, just extend it.
Yeah, till the March meeting, and then, basically if, I think, Tony, in past practice, if it's down before then, they come in there, and then, at the next meeting, he really wouldn't need to show as long as everything is.
What we're probably missing, Mr. Martin, was that was the extension of an interior demo permit, is that correct? Because there's demo paperwork that goes along with that for stipulations on the sewer. If you're going to keep the sewer, you're going to abandon the sewer cap needs to be inspected. So there's procedures that need to be followed there. So if this was just an interior demo, then this needs to be carried out. I mean, I know you decided during this process that you're going to just demo the house and it was no longer just an interior demo, but we need to get that paperwork straightened out and make sure the sewer is capped properly and make sure the well is secure and everything is good to go in that department.
Okay. I know I've had two different, this is the second demo permit, so, I'd have to take a look at it in my office to be sure.
I think the one you're on is just an extension of the first, or a repeat of the first, which was the interior demo.
I don't believe any of them were whole house demolitions.
Okay.
But there's no reason that in this motion it cannot turn into the whole house demo
I think it can.
with the proper paperwork on the application.
I don't have an issue with that. I don't think anyone will. We just need that paperwork to be filed right.
So it's just almost reapplying for a whole house demo?
I would say amending the permit,
Yeah.
and adding the demo paperwork, the whole house demo paperwork, which is all to do with utilities.
Because either way, we can't close a permit until it's done in completion, and if he has the wrong permit right now, then it's not gonna be done at completion.
Right.
What kind of timeline are we looking at, Tony, then, if, Mr. Martin were to get that paperwork filled out,
Just amend the permit, there's no cost difference, so it's just gonna be a matter of probably come in and talk to Michelle, and we'll kind of I can talk to her tomorrow morning and let her know what's going on, that this has gotta be turned into a whole house demo, and that way they'll have they've got the paperwork at the counter,
Okay.
so.
Mr. Martin, does that make sense to you?
It does. The only question, again, because this is my business, not my personal residence, I have a licensed contractor doing the work. Can I do that, or does he have to do that?
Being that you're the owner or representative of your business, you should be able to do it, that's fine.
Okay, perfect.
So come in, talk to Michelle, get the paperwork just cleaned up, no cost adjustment, just amending the permit, and we'll extend that amended permit to the next meeting of March 19th. At that point, if it's done before that, you're done with us, you don't even have to report as long as Tony's good, and then you would be done with the board.
Okay, very good.
And just to clarify the timing issue, looking at my notes from the December 18th meeting, I note that he was waiting on NIPSCO, they were working on retiring a gas line, and what I have here is there was a deferral until tonight with a motion to extend the permit until tonight.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you.
There you go, perfect.
Look at us doing the right thing.
So we didn't let it fall through the cracks.
All right, I'm ready for a motion, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
I'd like to make a motion to, amend Mr. Martin's permit to include, the whole house demo. That can be done through the building department. That permit would then expire on March 19th, giving us essentially a 30-day deferral of this item.
I'll second it.
And that amendment would be done upon Mr. Martin properly applying for whatever the building department requires to amend it.
That's included.
Duly noted. Is that seconded as well?
Okay.
Yeah.
As long as you say it's okay.
All right, we have a...
I'm not making the motion here.
Yeah, we have a motion by Ms. Dessauer, seconded by Mr. Hojek, as stated. Roll call, please.
Mr. Wojak?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Teal?
Yes, motion carries 3-0. Thank you.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Moving on to item number 5, 7303 West 129th Avenue, Fouch. Any word, Tony?
Yeah, I didn't feel that he needed to be here since he's got his permit in hand. He's got his exterior remodel, he's got a service turn-on permit, so he's kind of doing his thing.
Suggestions?
Suggestions? I guess it's in the building department hands now, if you guys wanted to go that route, and if he just kind of, falls down on it and doesn't do anything, then I guess it comes back. If you want to put it to an update item or...
The property now is not unsafe. It's secure, the foundation I know is corrected.
It's secure, as long as he's working on it, as long as he has agreed to work on it, then it won't be, the unsightly. Again, it's got a brand new house next door too, so
Yeah.
he needs to continue doing his work on it.
I know he worked a lot
He does,
quickly on
yeah.
that, by himself too.
Right.
Maybe remove it then.
My only concern with that is what happens if 3 months from now he falls off the map again.
Well, if it's moved to an update item, then
Update item or deferred, which would be the proper?
If we have an update item, then we can pop it back up on active, right?
Of course.
Or no?
Yeah. Through a motion.
I'd feel more comfortable with just, I don't want to remove it, but just an update item at this point. Give him 3 months, because right now his permit is good for the year, correct?
right.
So if he falls off the map in a couple of months, then we're stuck
Yes.
on hold for 9 months.
So we're just gonna move them to,
An update item.
okay, now I'm gonna make a motion.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Make a motion that we'll take the property at 7303 West 129th Street, Fouch, and we will move that to the update list for, 3 months?
No, well, I think it would just stay on the update.
Yeah, just move it to
And-
an update.
Yeah, and that way it is on our, our
Our radar.
monthly checks, radar, whatever it may be.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'll second.
All right, we have a motion, by Mr. Hojek to move this to update item, seconded by Ms. Dessauer. Roll call, please.
Mr. Wojak?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Teal?
Yes, motion carries 3-0. Moving on to potentially unsafe. Item number 13026 Fulton Street. I spoke with, Mr. Kubiak. As soon as he gets the equipment moved, from the other location, the one at 8705, once he decides what's going on with the foundation there, he will then move the equipment over to this parcel to, tear that one down. I believe he already has the demo permit for it,
Yeah.
so that's just gonna stay with potential unsafe. Next two items, item 2 and item 3, 7605 West 134th Place and 9110 West 142nd Avenue. Cheryl, you did send out the letters
I did.
already,
I did.
so,
When did those go out?
They'll actually go out in the morning.
Oh, they will go out,
Yes.
got it.
Yeah.
yeah, so Friday I came into, or I called, went over the 2 letters that, you know, we've seen that we've sent out, or the draft that we came up with, individually. It was a 60-day that they have to contact, the building department, come up with plans and take care of the situation on the parcels.
I have questions on that one. So, if either one or both of these properties contact the building department, and submit paperwork for permits, hypothetically, they could just say, okay, I want a demo permit, and that's gonna be good for 12 months, and then they can come back and renew it for half the cost and sit for another 12 months. So, that's just something to throw out there.
I'll tell you what, the one on 142nd is brutal, I mean, as you know.
Yeah.
I mean, that roof is coming in, it's open.
Yes. The garage was worse.
Yeah, it needs to be secured somehow.
The garage was worse. And just so you're aware, John, the address, the one that you just mentioned on 142nd, they did get a similar letter last year, and they took care of the situation, you know, pretty quick. So that was kind of, the thought moving forward with these potentially unsafes is to, basically put the ball in their court first instead of having, you know, Tony go out and do a whole complete report, moving forward,
That's a great question though, Tony, because
I would think that we need to have some kind of a stipulation on that for sure.
when these letters go out,
But you really can't, right? If you're doing it under the unsafe building law, technically, they're not unsafe. Right? We have no report that says they're unsafe.
Okay.
We're not to that point. This is kind of the, hey, you know, the gentle nudge to do something, but they're outside of the purview of the Unsafe Building Commission until we have the reports coming in that say they're unsafe, and we get them on the agenda. So,
they
I
have
don't
to
know
fall
that-
under the 1-year
I
demo.
don't know that we really have any authority in this position where the Unsafe Building Commission can say, hey, you only issue a demo permit for 90 days or something. Now, that being said, the building department, if you're talking to these folks, could certainly impress upon them that these are important matters to the commission, and, you know, if action isn't taken, so, you know, you say 60 days, they come in, they apply for it, you know, within 60 days, and there's no movement within a month or two, have Tony go out, get the report, bring him in here, and then we just start over. I mean, that's kind of how you would keep your finger on that pulse.
Okay.
So there can be an active demo permit, but if no action is being taken on that demo permit, we as a town can still go through the process of doing the report.
The building's still unsafe, right? It's not gone, we had a lengthy discussion about unsafe buildings and them not going anywhere, right? Even if the permit's open and they're not doing anything, yeah, I mean, I would say if there's no activity within a couple of months, then Tony can report that back to you guys, and you guys move forward. That's how you kind of monitor it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Well,
while we
hopefully
can't,
we'll get some responses back once the letters get out.
yeah, we can't technically limit the length of the permit, but once it comes under the purview of the board, then certainly those stipulations, as we put into place before, can be added.
Okay.
You know, that's a question I got now too. Once they get on the unsafe, we had a little discussion before about marking these buildings.
Yeah,
Can you mark them once they're deemed unsafe?
How do you
It's
mean?
just a simple placard, a 2x2 with an X, red X on it that says, first responders, stay away.
Just like we're gonna put a scarlet letter on this?
almost. So John had a good point, you know, in, as far as what they did up, you know, in Chicago and stuff like that, mainly for like first responder safety. You know, God forbid, you know, the property on 142nd catches on fire, mutual aid comes in, it's not a local fireman, you know, and they see a house on fire, and they're gonna run in and save someone when this is technically, you know, no one living there.
Yeah. It's a defensive, it should be a defensive move. We don't want anybody crawling in.
Yeah.
That house, the porch is, you know, the porch is like 30 feet away from the house. I don't know how they do that.
And that creates kind of a tricky scenario. I mean, I assume in most instances, we're talking about properties that are abandoned, right? We've had very few that are occupied, but some.
Right.
Correct.
You know, but where at in the process would we be?
I would say that would,
Because it would almost have to be, if you're talking about marking them, probably couldn't have any ability to do that until you've issued orders in that respect. Like, just having the unsafe premises report
Right.
is, you know, the equivalent of a probable cause affidavit being filed in a criminal case. Right? It's not a finding of guilt, it is an allegation.
yeah. I guess a good example, Ryan, would be like when the Ward parcel was still up for quite a while, ending the,
Yeah.
you know, real close to the end of the demo order, the Mogans as well.
I would say once the order's in place, then certainly, like,
That's
you,
okay.
Then,
You know, and that's one of the things I have to ask Tony is, you know, the signs that we have for the Christmas trees that they make? You don't wanna spend a lot of money on those things, and of course, we would charge with the cost to the people that own the property. Does Cedar Lake, can we make them ourselves? It's just a simple 2x2 with a red border and an X. And then, like Public Works, I know you guys are busy,
Right.
but if you put it up, you know.
Well, we had talked about noting the unsafe homes before, because of the situation where multiple homes have been sold while they were going through this process, and that information wasn't conveyed to the new owner. And when we spoke about that, it's probably a good year and a half ago, you said that's not something that we can do. Once it's slated for demo order on it, then I guess that's different, but until there's a demo order on it.
it's due process, right? Because
Right.
I kind of use the term scarlet letter, maybe a little tongue-in-cheek, but by the same token, it's kind of what it is, right? Until there's been an actual finding that it's unsafe and it needs to come down,
Right.
the individuals have the due process rights to come in, like Mr. Frick can come in and he can talk about his property and present his plans and do all that stuff.
Sure.
Right? We haven't gotten to the point where there's been any demo order issued, but
Right.
typically, the ones we're talking about are the ones that we get no responses on. Right, you're talking about the Ward property where the owners have been deceased for a decade, and nobody ever comes in. You know, Mr. Mogan, I guess he passed away during the middle of it. We had the son here who was, you know, working with us a little bit, but there's been some where you get no owners, no activity, no nothing. Those are the ones that you probably want to be more concerned about than
Right.
the ones that we've had people here tonight where they're actually, you know, attempting to make some
You know, the biggest thing is when I talked to one of the battalion chiefs from the fire department, he's been around for a while, he sees a boarded up building, he knows it's a no-go, he's not gonna let his guys go in there. Mutual aid comes in, I was a young fireman, I would go in, that's what you wanted to do, but we don't need to have anybody hurt.
Sure.
The other thing I would suggest in the meantime is, I'm just gonna throw it out there, do we send the unsafe list to the police and fire? So they have it I'm sure they have some kind of approved file, they could read it at their roll calls.
Well, that one report we get comes from the police department.
yeah,
That's the activity report?
the activity report,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And then,
It would be a bad idea to ensure that the information is at least shared with them, like, these are the ones we're looking at, these are the ones that there's issues with, just FYI, if there
Yeah.
are calls out there. I mean, our agendas have shrunken fairly dramatically in the last, I don't know, 7, 8 months, so the amount of places that they would have to memorize or remember shouldn't be.
and they could get
Well,
that through
that's-
dispatch too, that could be under CAD.
Well, it's only shrunk because we've been spinning wheels.
May I speak real quick?
And making some progress.
It's going to get
Tim
back up.
Yeah, Tim Holsey has.
has his hand up out there.
Yes, Tim?
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
Good, how you doing?
Hanging in there. I can definitely add, it's gonna take some time, but the unsafe list I can populate and put into Spillman, so it will populate in the firefighters' fire trucks, so they can see what buildings are or are not, on the unsafe list, so that will take that out of the equation.
No, that would be perfect.
Yeah.
If they could do that under daily training, they drive by and check it out and figure out their tactics, what they're gonna do.
And then it'd be better than putting the big red X in their
Yeah.
car.
Okay.
Well, you know, that's the thing, you know, you start putting them up there and half the time they get taken down,
Yeah.
but it's just something you gotta do, you know?
Okay. All right, moving on to,
Yeah, and with,
oh, sorry,
Go ahead.
go ahead, Tim.
No, I mean, and that's something that I can work with the building department, that if things are taken off the list, that I can just remove them from that database. So in the future, I mean, you don't have to put a big red X, the police or firemen will know what's safe and unsafe to go into.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, moving on to under permit demo orders, items 1, 2, and 3. I shared the messages from both of those property owners on the current status on what they're doing with their showings. Any questions on that, or?
No.
Okay. Moving on to update items, 13713 Parish Avenue, Diamond Peak. I believe that is still secure. I did actually hear the last Plan Commission meeting. I liked the thoughts and ideas.
Yeah.
So,
That'll be cool.
yeah, so I like that idea. Item 2, 6599 Fernwood, Mogan. Ryan, that is still going through the process.
This isn't the one that's being rebuilt, right?
Correct.
This is the one that we demoed?
Yes.
Yeah, this is the one, we filed a claim in the estate of Patrick Mogan, so, you know, once that estate is ultimately liquidated and closed, we should get paid. But-
Yeah, so this would just remain update until
Yeah,
then.
there
I
won't be
mean,
much to report until they offload the properties and get some money to pay everybody out.
Same thing with the Ward Land Bank.
Ward and Land Bank, we filed our sworn statements in December. I was working on those today. The only issue we may have on the Ward property is service. We're talking about 2 individuals that have been deceased for quite a lengthy period of time. Don't think they're signing for any green cards for the certified mailings we sent, so we're probably gonna have to publish. Land Bank, we're all good on. We just gotta get all of our green cards together, and we should be able to get judgment against them in a quicker fashion than Ward, to which we're gonna have to petition the court to put notice by publication out.
Okay. Item 5, West 127th Lane, this was the town-owned parcel, the garage. Last night, town manager said that the bill was generated, I believe it was just north of $7,000 for that. I instructed him to go to the clerk treasurer to have it paid for out of the unsafe fund. Whenever the sale of that parcel happens, because right now I believe there is just one appraisal in. We're waiting on the second one. Whenever that parcel does sell, whatever the was spent out of unsafe would go back to unsafe, and any of the other funds would then just go into the town's general fund. Then item 6, that's still the other town-owned parcel. That kind of a logistically challenged parcel, have a few other ideas with it, so that will still stay on update as well. Deferrals, no need to talk about those. Do we have any public comment for unsafe building? Public comment twice for unsafe building? Third call? I don't see anybody online. All right, next meeting will be March 19th at 5:30. This meeting is adjourned at 6:55 p.m.